if it looks like we're in the sun at long last, we are, and we're heading off to Kirk Island today. But let's just review the week.
That's right. And of course, I choose a bit of the shade. I'm a bit more sensitive than you, darky.
Yeah, I'm trying to,
What a week.
tan up.
What a week that was. Again, the links in the previous week was incredible. But hey, now Istria, Croatia. And the first part as we entered into Croatia was Motovun. Motovun, it's an amazing fortress or citadel which was built in the 13th century by the Venetians. Of course, overall in Istria, there's a huge influence from the Romans, and here the Venetians 13th century, and incredible. So it's this fortress up on the hill, beautiful, quirky. You can also walk around, choose, you have to pay for it, walk around. The perimeter of the walls, just beautiful to explore. And of course, you can also get amazing truffles because Istria is the truffle capital of Europe. And yes, we meandered around, had a meal there, something to drink, and enjoyed it.
From there, we travelled on to Poreč. Poreč is one of Istria's, or is the only UNESCO heritage site in Istria. It's a basilica, and throughout Poreč are beautiful cobblestones and relics from the old times. Of course, the Romans were everywhere, and this is one place that it was as well. The beaches were absolutely fantastic, full of tourists, and I imagine in tourist season it's going to get even busier, huh?
It's well known for its beaches, absolutely. And look, it was beautiful, plenty of tourists there. But I think I wouldn't want to be there in July or August.
No.
No.
Dario, our friend in Slovenia, had mentioned that we must go for lunch at Tony's Oyster Shack, both lovers of oysters. So off we went and we found this shack on the edge of the seabed, really, and in an estuary, yeah. And we bowled up there and Bernhard ordered a dozen oysters.
I think, was it even dozens?
2 dozen oysters.
Because I love oysters.
And then we just happened to say, how much are the oysters? And it was bloody €3 per oyster, which is...
Let that sink in, it's like close to $6. 6 Australian dollars. So 6 for one.
And we went, oh, how do we back out of this one? So we said, well, look, we'll just try half a dozen, which we did and paid for, and learnt the history of how they're such magnificent oysters, quite rare, not like your Pacific oysters, blah, blah, blah. But still, it was a bit of a shock. So, and nowhere near as good as the bluff oysters in New Zealand.
Look, I mean, they were beautiful. $6 worth for one of them. Look, I mean, sorry, bluff oysters, they are just 10 notches up. So no, I prefer New Zealand anytime. But hey, it was cute.
And what did you do?
Half a dozen oysters is not quite enough for the two of us. So cheeky Bernhard, of course, we just go down the estuary a little bit back, and I just collected, I think, 3 or 4 dozen of rock oysters. Took me a couple of hours, a few cuts and bruises.
So we sat and ate them for lunch, and we drove off down.
Then after that beautiful stop, yes, Istria. Istria is a gem. Really have to say so. And so many towns and villages, which just the history. Of course, because the Romans were there for a couple of thousand years, the influence. One town or village is more beautiful than the other. So one of them we visited is Rovinj. Rovinj, beautiful place. Also, of course, tourists are everywhere, but at this time of the year, it was still quite okay. And we loved it, just meandering through the beautiful little alleyways, and just like you really feel put back into time a few hundred years. Cafes, restaurants, cobblestone, colourful, and you got the seaside, absolutely beautiful.
And from there we just went to a little camp.
Oh, that's right, of course, a wild camp. Again, of course, we have to be careful because Croatia is also a place where wild camping is forbidden. So we found a place actually near or in the vicinity of a national park with a bird sanctuary, beautiful, right by the beach, magnificent spot. Loved it. And the next town was the largest city on the Istrian Peninsula, which is Pula. And of course, amazing background again from the Romans, well known for it. It's just a mecca for tourists during summertime, hence we're here this time of the year. And it also has an amazing Roman amphitheater. So you got again the Roman touch, but you also have Austro-Hungarian influence there as well later on in the centuries. So that's quite magnificent. We explored the city again, similar to Rovinj, etc. Amazing to explore, picturesque, beautiful cobblestones, alleyways, amazing places, beautiful seaside.
That's the place we made the mistake as it started raining to go to the plaza because we thought we needed a haircut. Right, I can honestly say it took 15 minutes to chop both our hair, and it was an absolute hair hack. So by the time I get home, I will have not had another haircut apart from my fringe, which I do myself, because that was disgusting.
Yeah, it wasn't the best hairdressing, but it was bucketing down. There was not much else to do for us. So we had spent half a day there, and then we explored the amphitheatre. Magnificent. It's quite amazing. It's just a small version of the Colosseum. Love that. Got some great footage there too. And after exploring Pula, we had a beautiful site where we camped again right by the beach, but it's cliffs, so very rocky, magnificent. Not quite the same as 2 nights ago where we stayed at Fontana. Fontana, that was actually after we had been to Piran, which was amazing, where we were right at the beach. The sun was out. Actually, for the first time, I went in for a swim. I think you chose to just put your toes in.
Toes only.
I actually went for a swim.
May.
And enjoyed the beautiful afternoon and evening sun, had dinner and a wonderful sunset. But yes, and after Pula, so that was 2 days earlier, and Pula, after we explored this magnificent town, we went on to a camp further down the coastline, which was, the area was called Rossarol Shipwreck. So an Italian shipwreck there as well at the coastline. Found a great spot there, quite secluded. However, the weather wasn't really...
It was crap.
Yeah.
It was windy and it was raining. Another suggestion of Dario's was to go and see the Drunken Railroad. And so we headed off towards that. Didn't really find it, and the weather was atrocious. Like, it would literally... Gotta say one thing about Croatia. It has wicked, cold winds, and they just come racing in and slam you, and if you've got those winds on top of rain, yeah, it's pretty miserable. But off went Bernhard to find this drunken railroad. I stayed in the car.
How often do you go in the world and see drunken rail? Yeah, you make it drunk and you meander along the railroad and you know, it's you being drunk. No, it's actually the railroad. And as you can see, literally, reality what it is, I think it's been partially washed away, everything has moved, and it's amazing. But trying to find this place, the drunken railroad, incredible. We had a location, we went out, and again, it was bucketing down, like really miserable weather. No, we didn't come here just to hide in the car. And you said, no, you're not going there. And I braved the weather and literally had to fight my way through the bush. There was no track, there's nothing there. It's not really a tourist attraction. And look, trying to have the GPS, which points me in a certain direction, and I'm literally funneled through the bush, up and down the hills, etc. It's like the same as if we go deer hunting in the bush in Australia. Actually works. And I eventually found it, awesome footage there, and the same way I had to fight my way back there again as well to report to Princess, yes, I found the drunken railroad. Just to find out, after we were heading off, actually there were some signage a little bit better, where it would have been an easier way. But again, it's not well described, but enjoyed the drunken railway at the beautiful peninsula of Istria.
After that, we started to go round the bottom of the peninsula and head up towards a national park, Učka. But we decided that it was time to experiment with other roads, off-roading, and found some amazing tracks and have some excellent footage on that of the Troopy right up looking down on the sea, and we parked up there and had an awesome view and an awesome camp night.
And again, it's just because you did some research, it's not really well known. You found this track and it was amazing, really hucked in, 4-wheel drive, it's really off the maps. Love that.
The next day was the biggest misadventure I think I could have had, is that as we were leaving that campsite, I thought it was a good idea to pick up some footage of Bernhard driving the 4-wheel drive and trying to get round this really tight corner, and however many points he could do it. So I stood up on the side of the hill and started taking the footage. But as I climbed down to get back into the truck, a rock twisted and I twisted my knee and my ankle. And that day I didn't really think much of it. So we carried on up to Učka, and it was only as we were doing a bit more walking that I realised...
And I actually said, because she didn't even say anything, of course, tough old Kiwi, basically, tough young Kiwi. You know, I mean, pain is non-existent for her. And if she says something is painful, then you know there's something wrong. So, oh yeah, just twisted my ankle. Okay, no big deal. But yeah, that little bit of a twist of her ankle came to a point where she could hardly walk.
That was that night after we'd found an absolutely fantastic campsite after seeing all these beautiful wild horses, and you cut your way through so that we could get the car through.
You did the recce though. We saw this is an amazing view.
Doing the recce. And then finally when he built the campsite, I thought it might be a good idea to put a bandage on, and did that.
Totally pissed off that I took a little trip on a stone. The stone moved, twisted my leg and twisted my ankle. So now a bit of a damper on things, but soldier on.
It's off now because I'm tanning, okay?
Absolutely. And we had our first campfire. Hallelujah. We're
Yeah.
still a bit fresh. Okay, it's a daytime with the sun out there, getting a bit of a tan, but fresh at nighttime. So we had an amazing campfire. Absolutely loved it. The most amazing view of the Bay of Rijeka. Magnificent. And
What happened the next day?
well, we
Go
liked
on.
it that much, so we had a bit of a sleep in at 8 o'clock. Oh, we were up, had a coffee, warming up in the sun. Actually enjoyed the sunrise too. And I said, oh, Princess, I think there's some official walking up somewhere around the corner. Okay, as he comes closer, yes, here he is. That's a park ranger.
The big fat fine.
Really friendly guy, lovely man as a matter of fact. He was almost embarrassed to come and talk to us because what happened is it was a local who had spotted us the day before, even took some photos of us, sent it into the Minister of Tourism or Ministry, went high up, went down, said that they have to take action. So he came to fine us.
And he said he was so apologetic, lovely young lad, and he said it's the first time in 13 years as a ranger that he has been forced to fine someone. So he cut the fine in half, and then he told us of this amazing little coffee place and go and have a coffee on him and at his expense, or a drink, whatever we like. And then he also told us about this absolutely fantastic restaurant. So we didn't feel too badly about it and hoped that the fine went to keeping the national park.
That's right. It was actually reduced at 122 euros. So it's quite significant. So you really want to keep in mind actually, wild camping, a lot of, it can get expensive. It can get up to 1,000 euros. So, but he was a lovely gentleman. He was truly embarrassed and said, look, but hey, if anybody else comes, you can stay as long as you want. I'm really sorry. Amazing, gave us great tips. And then we enjoyed this magnificent lunch.
It was absolutely fantastic. It had all the local foods.
It did have one meal I really wanted to try, I have to say, but they did not have it in stock, which was
Bear.
bear. Okay, yeah, they have bear steaks. That's what they served there as well. They didn't have bear, but again, magnificent meal. And then we went back to our amazing camp spot and had another campfire and another beautiful night.
And here we are now, ready to go to
Kirk. And we will be going through Rijeka to our first Croatian island.
So, see you next week. It's never too late to take on these adventures and to make the best of it.
Absolutely, whatever it is, never too late. Go for it, go for gold. Please, if you like this, smash the like button, subscribe, even if you'd like to share it as well. That would be amazing. Thank you very much for being part of our journey.
Bye.
We'd also love to thank our sponsors, including BainTech for our lithium battery and battery management system setup, Cooper tires that get us rolling through the toughest terrain, Kuluin Automotive for all the mechanical work on this vehicle, Cruisinator and Bonetti campers for the amazing fit out of our Questor, Weston Works for the Pioneer panels, and for our 4x4 recovery gear when the going gets tough by George 4x4.